Hello, welcome to the Global Psychic and Healer channel. Today, we're going to receive a medium that is also a belly dancer, and she's also a channel and an intuitive life coach. So please welcome to Angel Thacker.
Yes, welcome, thank you.
I'm super happy to have you today. I'm curious, I've got many questions for you. The first one, I would like to know, how did it start for you? When was the first time that you had a perception?
Oh, that's really interesting. People ask me that a lot. And I think I look back on my very first memory and I was really, really young. And the memory was of, I used to have like I would call it a playmate is what I would call it. And I came to understand later on in life that this was just an ancestor from the past. God, I had to be like 3. I just remember always kind of talking to this person and playing with this person and seeing them in the backyard. Every time we moved, I was raised in the military, so we moved around a lot. And every time we moved, this person would kind of be around me and play with me and stuff like that. And as I got older, I found myself a little scared of the person because we watch a lot of horror movies in my family. So, but as I became more aware of metaphysics and aware of, kind of new age processes, I came to accept that this was a ghostly visit. And I've always kind of knew things and had insights on things before they would happen, and always kind of had the ability to kind of talk to people, kind of more mature for my age. So that's probably 2 or 3 is the earliest memory that I have.
Right. I would like to know, how did your parents and people around you react to that? Does they have the same kind of ability?
It's really great when you come up with a family that's open to it. My mother's side of the family, she's from New Orleans, so we kind of have a very rich spiritual background there. I had the life change of having a brother pass away when I was a teenager. And when he passed away, our family got really connected to metaphysics. So I came up in my formative years really exposed to a lot of really interesting metaphysical processes. I grew up in a metaphysical church. Our reverend was a channel, so she gave channeled sermons. So we would have monthly and weekly spiritual development classes with the ministers in the church. So I came up really, really fortunate. So I had a mix of kind of the classical Christian church upbringing and the metaphysical upbringing combined together. So my family's been great. They're often pushing me because I don't do enough, because they want me to do more, and so here I am.
Oh, good. Oh, good. When you say you're doing your medium and a channel, what is the difference for you?
So to me, a medium and a channel is really distinct. A channel is a person who gives information directly from the source, whether it's spirit or the divine or wherever the message are coming from the higher realms. A channel pulls that information in and gives it directly from that particular source versus interpreting it through whatever tools or modalities they may work through. Where a medium is someone who connects with and communicates directly with the no longer living, with the ghostly spirits and such that exist on the other side of the veil. So a medium is someone that kind of can talk to your ancestors, talk to your loved ones after they pass, can kind of sense and communicate in a space. And a lot of times we have the ghost hauntings, the meeting will be there. That's what the medium's role is for.
And when you talk about the ghost, do you have a separation with that, or could you see a ghost appearing at any moment of your day?
So it's kind of, I don't have any control over it. I wish I did. I get the little shadows that run around, and I think as we get older and we get more comfortable in our space, we become accustomed to adjusting and not reacting. I think the hardest thing for me is seeing the little presences and seeing the things on the side that happen and seeing the shadows and the figures that move around and not letting people know that I see them. Because it can happen anywhere. It can happen in the grocery store. It can happen especially when you're on a vacation, places where things have happened. We visit landmarks and we visit all the stuff when you go there and stuff is happening. And what I find is when you have these gifts, they're excited and they want to talk to you. And you're on a tour with your friends and your family, you may not necessarily want to talk to anybody right now, and they make themselves present. So it's on all the time. It's like a television, and it's on all the time. if you try to turn it off, then you run into the situation where you don't know if you're able to turn it back on again. So I've turned it off before. So what I do now is I just kind of let it turn on. And sometimes if they have something to say, I have to stop and let them say something. That's my mother's talking. I'm sorry. So yeah.
When you say it's like you had experience to stop that before, could you tell us a bit more about that?
Repeat the question.
When you say you have stopped those perception a certain period of your life, you mentioned that. What did happen?
If I understand your question, you're asking me when I had a time where I turned it off in my life. Is that what you're asking me? So
yes, it's what you mentioned. You mentioned that you always have those perception. It's 24 hours,
yes.
And you have stopped that.
I stopped it because I you know, it's a little scary, you know, when especially when you're young. It doesn't feel like you're in control. It feels like we live in a very tangible, a world focused on, you need to go get a job, you need to make money, everybody's an accountant, everybody's an electrician, and you're trying to walk that line too. You're trying to provide kind of that normal life that everybody thinks that you should provide, but at the same time, you have all this stuff happening. So the choice that I had made was to kind of focus my life more along the lines of being that person that is successful in the corporate world. So I shut it down and pursued that. And so for many years, I went into advertising, I went into finance. I did what I felt was what you're supposed to do. So I have like an advanced degree, I have a master's degree, I have all this great background in corporate America, have had some really great jobs, but I'm unfulfilled. And I was not happy and I was toxic. It was just wasn't working for me. And when I had the opportunity, God, I want to say 8 years ago, to kind of re-engage in this process, it just lit up really fast, and my skill set was just hyper skilled. And that's when I became, you know, more aware of my skills as a medium, because I hid from it. It feels like, how can I put it? It feels like a great responsibility. Somebody comes up to you and says, you have this great responsibility, and one can run from it if you're unsure. And I think a lot of the practitioners out there that are coming up right now that are very powerful spend a lot of time running from it. And so I have just given up, as they say, let go and let God. I've stopped running, and I'm doing the work, you know, full time and focus now. So that's kind of what happened when I stopped it.
Okay, what do you enjoy the most at the moment in your practice?
What I enjoy the most, I have two things that I enjoy. I enjoy helping people kind of connect to their purpose and being joyous and happy. What I'm being given in my messages and in my individual work is I'm being given the message that we've been put here to be glorious and happy, and that the divine source wants us to be happy in the work that we do and prosperous. So I get a lot of thrill connecting people to that and finding a way for them to get on the path of their purpose and be joyous and prosperous in that. So that's the one thing that I do that I really enjoy a lot. And the other thing I do that I enjoy a lot is helping other spiritual workers understand what they need to do to be successful. All the work that I've done, all the experience I've gained through this kind of more practical science and practical business, I've taken and I put together processes to help other light workers and other spiritual workers launch their businesses and put their processes together so they can be successful, because they too deserve to be happy in their life purpose. And a lot of times we don't know what to do. So those are the two things I really enjoy a lot.
Which kind of repetitive challenge do you see in people who are looking for their life purpose?
Fear. That is the big monster, is fear, because, you know, we could sit and fantasize about wanting to be successful, and we do. We all want to hit the lottery and then go and do something. We all want to be a rock star and step up on stage. We all have these great grandiose dreams, and we almost dream so high that will never, ever happen. And then you don't have to worry about whether you can step up or stand up and deliver, because it's never going to happen. But when you're actually faced with the possibilities of achieving that, it's, again, what I was saying before, that grand responsibility. So now you have to do it. And it's fear. What's going to happen? Am I going to succeed at it? Can I do it right? Are people going to judge me? Am I going to be any good at it? So part of the whole process of connecting people to their purpose is getting deep down in their process and releasing and letting go of the myths, the stories, the fears, the pain, all the things that they have going on inside them, so that they can succeed, so that they can release the fear. And that, I find that that's the biggest thing in all areas, love, purpose, everything. It's just fear. It rules us.
Sure. And to have like a result, how long do you think how many sessions do you propose? How long does it take for people?
No, that's a really hard question to answer, because a lot of people do come to you and they're like, I want an hour, fix me. And it doesn't work. I wish it worked that way. It all comes down to how willing you are. I have had people, I've worked with them for a year. I've had people I work with them for a week. I love breakthroughs. I've had sessions, so I'll do group sessions, I'll do seminars, and I'll have somebody just break down, cry, and let it all go. So it's not about how many sessions, I think. I think it's when you're ready to let go, it happens really fast. And getting the person to the point where they're ready to let go, that can be the challenge, because holding on to the fears is like Linus holding on to that little blanket. As much as we don't like the fears, we hold on to them and we don't want to let them go. And so now, it could take a couple of sessions to get people to see their fears and to see the things that don't work for them, and then getting them to let go and getting them to acknowledge that they're worthy of that grand dream that they have. So, it's hard for me to answer how much time. I can only answer that with the question, and the question is, how soon and how bad do you want it? If the answer is right now, then we can get to work right now.
Yeah, excellent reply.
Right?
What could we expect? What can I expect if I go for a session with you?
So I have a couple of things that I'm known for. One of the things I'm known for is I'm pretty straightforward and to the point. I've had the experiences in my life when I struggled when I was young, where I've gone to practitioners and they've just told me, what I want to hear. So I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. So I always ask my people, are you sure you want to know the answers to these questions? I'm also, an entertainer. So I've been on stage many times. So I like it to be light. So I'm kind of funny, because I feel people are more comfortable when they're in a light space, and making people laugh is really, really important to me. And in my process, I want you to be in joy. And I'm pretty on point. So I often things that I can do. So I'm going to dig deep really fast. If it's an hour, 2 hours, however long you want, I want you to get the most out of that time as possible. So I'm going to cut to the chase as quickly as possible. So to give you an example, if you come to me and you want to know about love, and you're in a really bad relationship, but you're going to try to make it work, I'm going to talk about that, because maybe the answer is you're not supposed to be in that relationship. And that can be probably that goes back to the fears and the blocks. If you can't step away from what's bad, God can't bring you something awesome in return. So that's what you can expect when you work with Angel.
Nice. And how your group session looks like?
It's pretty simple. I don't have a lot of bells and whistles unless you need a clearing, because I do clearing. So when I do clearings, there's sage and all kinds of fun stuff. But for the most part, you might, unless you need to see cards and crystals and such, it's just going to be you and I sitting down and having a conversation. I close my eyes a lot because I'm communicating, because most of my sessions are channeled sessions. So I have to get the information in. So for most people who are used to working with a clairvoyant or a medium, you're in a conversation and they're going to connect to whoever's in your posse. That's what I like to call it. You walk into the reading with your posse. So it'll be your guides and your ancestors and whatever else you've got going on will come in. And that's who I get my information from the people who are around you that want to communicate whatever the message is that needs to be communicated with. I ask people to prepare. Whether you're doing it on Skype or doing it in person or on the phone, prepare for the session by doing some kind of connectivity so that you are clear what it is you want. And I always tell people, don't go to a reading and ask for general information, because it's like a waste of your time. You paid the money, you reserve the time, get to the nitty gritty of what it is you're looking for. Don't take that time to test a psychic. That doesn't even make any sense. Go in there and get your information. And if you don't think that's a person for you, don't waste your time. And so that's kind of the information I give people before they come, because I'm kind of matter of fact. And I sit down and I just cut to the chase. Be prepared to get data. So I encourage people to record or write, have notes there to write, so that they can walk away, so they can remember everything that was said.
Do you channel anyone, or it's like, are you taking care of what you're channeling, or are you blocking sometimes?
Okay, so my primary source when I channel Matthew, the apostle. That's who I channel. So I get my information from Matthew when I'm working with people. And it took me a long time to allow the channeling to come through. It was a little creepy at first for me. So I'm a little restricted on anything else in terms of channeling. So when I'm actually channeling, it's either of the Ascended Masters, I channel Matthew, sometimes Jesus comes through, and sometimes other things. But for the most part, everything else is through the mediumship. So if I'm giving you a reading and your mother wants to come through and say something, I will, I can feel the energy. So I might be looking off to the side because I feel that's where she is, but I'm talking to her. I'm not channeling her, because I'm very particular with my vessel. So if I'm actually channeling, if I'm in a channeling session, my eyes are closed, I'm channeling, that usually 9 times out of 10, that's Matthew, the apostle. If that works. I think that's the answer you were looking for.
Oh yes, indeed, it's the perfect answer. I wonder, how does that feel to channel Jesus?
Would you want to know how it feels?
Yeah.
Is that what you asked me?
Yeah.
I usually don't know I'm doing it. It's really kind of funny. I'll do a session, and and a lot of times it has to do with the group that's there. I have this theory that when you do a circle like that, or you do a group, all the people that are there are supposed to be there. So the message is for everyone. And every once in a while, I'll be given a message, and all of a sudden here he comes. And I'm always really, I cry. Like, the emotions are so heavy and deep and wonderful when he comes through. And it's usually a powerful, powerful session. And it's not when you would think it would be. Like, if I do a channeling circle on Easter, it's not like he comes because it's Easter. It usually is because of whatever's happening in that group. If the group needs healing, or if someone there specifically has a message from the master, because he's kind of busy. He's got a lot going on. But it is, and I'm also very honored. I always feel very very humbled to kind of come out of trance and have people tell me, "Oh, you just channeled Jesus." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, did you record it?" Because I never remember the messages that are said.
Oh, yeah, interesting. So it's like you're doing group work, and you mentioned also you're doing seminar. And I would like to know, which kind of subject are you talking about in your seminar?
They vary. Groups come to me for different things. I have my favorite subjects. I love to speak on prosperity and abundance because, as I said earlier, I feel like everybody is meant to be abundant and prosperous. So I love to speak on prosperity and abundance. I love to speak on releasing and accepting loss. We have a hard time when we lose our loved ones. They're around us, and helping people heal through that. I love to speak on empowerment. I have a really great session that I do on women's empowerment and sensuality that I love to do. And then spiritual development. One of the things that Jesus said in his time was that we all have these gifts, and we all have the ability to connect. And so I love to speak on people's ability to connect to their own root source, to connect to the divine and get their own kind of confirmation. So I love to do seminars on that. But the most popular seminar is love. That is the most popular seminar. And so, I always do a sellout seminar for Valentine's Day and things like that, where people want to talk about love and creating a space in their life where they can receive love, and who their life partner is and all that kind of stuff. Those are always the popular choices.
Yeah, I'm not very surprised. I'm very interested by your practice, the belly dance, because I'm doing that a bit.
Yes.
And how does that help you? What is the meaning? Do you have a spiritual meaning behind that?
So I have a really great connection to the dance. I have a cancer scare years and years ago, and I went to the doctor, and I had all this surgery. And my doctor, who at the time, he was a very kind of a cold and didn't have a great bedside manner. And then when I went through this process, I was like, well, what should I do? Because I was, it was all in the ovaries. And so I had lots of pain and, getting back into the gym. What do I need to do? And he says, you should take a belly dance class. I'm like, a belly dance class? What do you mean? It will help you with healing and all this stuff. And I started dancing in my home. At the time, we had VHS tapes. It was back before, DVDs were and live streaming. So I had VHS tapes. So I ordered a bunch of tapes from all these belly dancers all over the nation. And I would sit in my house and I would dance in front of my television because I didn't want to be outside. Yeah, do all the dancing. I didn't want to be outside. And yeah, woo. And then I snuck out and started taking a class from one of my belly dance mommies. God, this has to be 14 years ago or so, maybe even longer ago than that. And she had her class at a metaphysical bookstore. So I took her class, and I'll never forget, her name was Azar. I took her class and it was in their little conference room at this metaphysical bookstore in my community. And so I was reconnecting to my metaphysical side and engaging in this belly dance process kind of all at the same time. And that lit my whole process up. And at the time also I was heavier and I didn't have a lot of love for myself. I didn't feel that I was very sensual. I never really felt really great about myself. But the whole process of what the belly dancing has done for me is I feel really good about myself. I've really connected to my sensuality, and that's where I engage with women to help them connect to their sensuality. So I do this process called Belly Passion, and it's a women's empowerment program where I connect women to their sensuality and their spirituality at the same time through the dance. So we'll do some spiritual development, and then we'll get up, we'll move around, get them feeling sexy about themselves, and teach them some movements. And when they get home and they have like a little routine and they just feel really great about themselves. And I always have this thing I tell people, we always want love in our life, but you're not going to get anybody to love this if you don't love it. How's somebody going to touch it if you're afraid to touch it? You know what I mean? And so that's what I do with the belly dance now. And it's just so much fun watching a woman or a man, whomever it is, because I've taught some great guys how to dance as well. To watch them go from being closed and tight because they have a really highly professional job and they wear a suit and they carry a briefcase. So to watch them go from that to this crazy, voluptuous, wild dancing woman. And I've had husbands come to me and thank me for sending their wives home feeling more sensual. And so that's what the belly dancing is. And it was one of my clients that anointed me Angel the Belly Dancing Medium because she was like, why do you separate them? Because I did. It's like, this is the belly dance piece and this is this piece. And it's the same, she said. She said, it's the same. And you have this way of just making people feel powerful. You should put them together. You're Angel the Belly Dancing Medium. So I honor my client by calling me that. I don't think there's anybody else out there that's called that either.
Yeah, that makes a tremendous difference because I felt like you're connecting also with life, not only with spirituality.
Yeah, and creating that true goddess, because people talk to that all the time in spirituality. It's like, I'm the goddess this and I'm the goddess that. And what they're missing is that this goddess that you're speaking to is like, you're a goddess in your own right. We're all these goddesses and we have all this great power. Nations have been won and lost over the power of what we bring to the table. If it wasn't for women, life wouldn't exist. And we've allowed society to make us forget that. That's how much power we have. Without women, there is no life. And we forgot that. We allow society to tell us to take a step back, and we allow society to tell us to pretend we're something else. And I tell people, put your hair down, put on that tight sweater and those blue jeans and those heels, go dance. And remember who you are, and that's what I like to do. And it's a lot of fun.
How do you define the feminine energy?
What was that?
How do you define the feminine energy? Because
how do I define oh my gosh. Wow, that's a good question.
You incarnate that pretty well, from my perspective.
Oh my gosh. Feminine energy to me is threefold. The feminine energy is the mother. It is the energy of mothering and supporting and gestating and creation and comforting. It's all of that. The woman can cry, the woman can nurture, the woman can create. The feminine energy is also the warrior energy. There's nothing more fierce than the female warrior when she's defending her young. The last thing you want to do in nature is try to get to an animal's young. So we forget that fierceness. There is an animalistic, dangerous fierceness that you can turn and create power out of. And then again, there's the sensuality. We hide from our sensuality because society and the male society has turned it into this kind of ugly, nasty, voyeuristic thing that they throw out there through pornography and all this stuff, and they turn us into objects. And so we get mad at that, so we shut our eyes to the sensuality. But what we fail to see is that there's power in that, because nations have been destroyed, men have been imprisoned, people have died, all because of the power that we carry in our sensuality. And how you stand in that sensuality is up to you. And if you choose to engage with it in that illicit way that society puts out there, that's on you. You can't blame society for that. But if you choose to do it in a different way, I love to watch classic movies because I feel like they titillated differently, where now we just put it out there. There's something much more interesting to not showing all your stuff and just standing there showing all your stuff. We have that power and we forget that. So those are to me, the three elements of what, the feminine power is about. And all of us have that. Every single one of us have that. You have the power to cry in a boardroom because you're so inspired by the power of your committee. You could sit in a boardroom and say, you guys are amazing, and get tears in your eyes. I am so inspired by you, and light them up. If a guy did that, they'd get scared. But a woman can do that and light people up. That's power.
Ooh, you give me goosebumps just saying.
Oh,
say it.
But that's how I feel about it. And it took me a long time myself to get to that point. To take care of yourself, get your nails done, put some lipstick on, walk out there, show the world what you're up to, because that's what we are. And then put some music on and shake it around a little bit so you remember what it feels like to move your body around, because that's how much power we have. And I love lighting that up in women. I had a reading with a woman yesterday where she's hurting because her husband passed away and they've been together for years. And I was just like talking about how all this energy, and I could just see her lighting up, whereas before she was kind of shut down. I love that. I love it.
Yeah, it seems you had enough to share or to multiply it. That's good.
Well,
very inspiring.
Thank you. I have on my profile on Yelp, they tell you to come up with a little tag for yourself, and I use inspirational because people tell me that all the time. They tell me that, and just, as a survivor and a person that's been through a lot, I acknowledge, yeah, that's inspirational, but I enjoy just wanting people to want more. I just want people to want more, and that's what I want on my tombstone. She helped us achieve more. That to me is inspiration, and that's what I want to bring to the table. That whatever it is you want, whatever it is you're thinking you want right now, I want you to want more. And every day you come to me, I'm still going to want you to want more. So when you think, we're like, here's more, Angel, I'm like, go back and get some more. I want people to want more. Your life should be about living to achieve more so that you can fulfill whatever it is that you need to do. That's who I am. And then dance while you're doing it.
What is the key for you of being a good psychic or coach? What is the core value, maybe?
My core value, that's a really good question. It's about making it about the persons, the individuals, the clients that you're engaging in. It's not about me. It's so easy to make it about yourself. And I did that too when I was young in it, because you've got the gift. And so it's all about, this is what I do. This is what I can do. Come see me. I'm doing this. This is what I'm talking about. And let me help you. And the key is not let me help you. The key is how can I help you? The key is it's not about me. It's about you. And if you really stay focused in that space, I cry a lot when I'm working with my clients because I touch people, and when I touch them, I feel what they're feeling because it's about them. I often give too much of my time because I can't just stop. You know, if you have an hour with me, it's hard for me to just stop if you're getting what you need. And my clients have full access to me. When you engage with me as an ongoing client, they have full access to me. So when they have crises and they have celebrations, they can connect with me. So that I feel is my key core. There goes a garbage guy. My core value. My core value is it's not about me, it's about them. And I walk with that every day.
Excellent, excellent. We have a question. Are you happy to take one? Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, so we have Francois who says that I'm looking for a new job, probably in the therapy area. Do you have an advice?
Okay, so you say you're looking for a new job. When she said, I'm looking for a new job, my heart just exploded with this joyous power. Like what you're about to do right now is exactly what you're supposed to do. You've been kind of not doing what you're supposed to do. You've been kind of like trying to pick and choose. And in the therapy, it's like kind of in a therapy session, I see hands. I see your hands doing stuff. I see you. This may mean something to you because it doesn't mean anything to me, but I also see a movement in a modality like painting or something like that. So it's much more rich than this. You have something to say. You need to start writing things down. It looks like there might be a book in there. There's some speaking. It's much more expanded than you think it is, but it's something that you need to do now because your heart is waiting to sing and it's been held back for a long time. So do some research around things where you're moving stuff around people's space, feng shui, energy healing, speaking to people, even sound, like the singing bowls, just the things you're affecting space, audio space and visual space in the work that you do. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense.
I hope it's going to make sense. Yeah, I perceive this kind of, the space that you mentioned also.
Yeah, good. That was awesome. Reminds me, you have a picture behind you there, and as I was connecting him, it almost looks like that. There's this movement in space. That's what I'm seeing. It's like there's powerful energy that's going to be coming through. But do it. Do it now. Great.
What do you have something that you would like to share that we haven't mentioned yet?
We talked about the work that I do. We talked about, doing the readings. I talked a little bit about the business development work that I do. That's really important to me. As I said earlier, having someone kind of mentor you and guide you. This is something that I do love to do, is to take the young in their practice, not so much young in the body, just young in their practice, taking them from a point where they are properly presented, they know what tools they need and getting them out so they can start doing the work. Working with people who are stuck in their process. I really love working with people who are stuck in their process, especially when it comes to finance, helping them unclog the dam that is, remove the dam so the river of financial success can start to flow. I love to do that. But most important, in terms of readings, everybody wants to get a reading. Everybody has questions that they want to ask. And I do love engaging with people like that. But I love working with people who are really what I call up to something. I love people who want to get somewhere and take that information and make something happen in their lives. So that's I think the crust of it. And the dancing, of course. Anybody wants to dance, I want to dance too. But you pretty much you got everything in there. I'm pretty simple, pretty basic. I think everybody's got their soul source of what it is that they do. Everybody was here for a reason. Everybody's been put here for a purpose. And if you don't know what that purpose is, then you need to do whatever it is you need to do to figure that out so that you can start moving forward on your purpose. So that you're not moving in your movie, doing the wrong thing for 60 years, and you look up and you realize you're not in the right movie. right? So I think that's me in a nutshell.
Yeah, it seems that you get like a lot of gift, or I perceive you as very complete from like the spiritual, the clairvoyance, and also like this life energy that is finally very rare to observe.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you on the show today. Yeah.
Thank you. I get that a lot, and I enjoy that, and I think that's what completed it for me, because as I said, I've been doing this for many years, and I was, I would be successful, and I would stop. I would be successful, but the bringing it all together does make it very different for me, and it feels different, and I love it so much more because I feel much more complete as an individual. And when you feel complete in your process, when you work with other people, you're so much more complete in getting them to where they need to be, because they feel that. They feel it. And if you're not real with people, if you're not in that real space, it's not going to work for them. And if it doesn't work for them, it's not going to work for you either. Mm. So thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I think I observe like your simplicity, your honesty, and your transparency that I think probably help your clients to resonate with that, and to be also more transparent and more alive.
Yeah, I believe that people like to talk about integrity, and they're like, what is integrity? And most people are going to talk about when you tell the truth and when you do this. And I don't believe that's necessarily so, because people can believe what they think is the truth. That doesn't make it the truth. I did a business seminar recently, and the guy defined integrity as doing what you say you're going to do, which I think is really powerful. I'm going to do this, and then you complete on that. And so you take that concept, doing what you say you're going to do, and then being completely transparent with people. You put those two things together, and you can't lose if you're trying to help people, because if I say I can help you, I'm going to help you. And if I can't, then I'm honest. I'm like, maybe you need to work with somebody who can, because there's no connection, and I can't get you what you want. And I have said that to clients. I've given them their money back, and at first they're angry because they wanted something, but then they contact me later and they appreciate that, and they even forward other people to me, because it's like, at least she's honest. If it's not going to work, it's not going to work. And that's that transparency, because you do have the responsibility of working with this gift from God and doing the right thing with it. So that's the place that I stand in now, 25 years after I started, which was, or more than 25 years, which was a whole different space. When you're young, you have no idea a lot of times what you're doing. So that's who I am.
So if someone wants to find you, where can I find you?
So where can you find me? Lurking around the internet. Kind of floating around, belly dancing in the internet, just like that. So I usually send people to my name because it's easiest to find. So if you go to angelthacker.com, it's a portal that takes you to everything. And I call my my spiritual practice is igniteandevolvecoaching.com.
Could you read
So ignite your life, and then evolve your life. So igniteandevolvecoaching.com. But if that's too much for people, just go to angelthacker.com and you'll find everything. You'll click there, you'll see a pretty picture of me dancing, and then there'll be links to all the different pieces that I do.
Well, it sounds great. Sounds great. So it's like mainly you're doing, from what I can reason, it's like you're doing more coaching than prediction.
Well, the predictions, that's really interesting. Predictions, people always want me to predict things. And, I predicted Barack Obama's presidency. That was probably one of the most powerful things that I've ever done. And I kind of like drop the mic and walk away. It's here to do anything else. But for me, I am going to give you whatever it is that you need. And then I need to give you the tools to get there. So a gal asked me the other day, am I ever going to do the thing I love to do? That's a really great question. When are you ready to do what you want to do? What do we got to get you to do so that you can do what you want to do? Because the answer to that question is always going to be yes. But you have to do stuff to make it happen too. So, the fortune telling, sitting down and answering the questions and helping people get confirmation and get clarity around what's coming. I do that. But what I do is I also bring in, this is what you got to do to get it. Because just because I told you it was over there doesn't mean it's going to happen. And a lot of time people will get upset with a practitioner because something doesn't happen, but they didn't take the steps they were supposed to take to go make it happen. So you can't just know the box is going to be there. I got to help you get to where you need to go to get the box. Or, you know, maybe that box is not for you, which is that matter of factness, because sometimes that box is not for you, and we need to talk about that. So the answer to the question is, yeah, I do. But we're going to talk about it. So we're not going to just, I'm not going to just say yes. I'm going to say yes and, because I want you to be successful at it.
Okay, so well, a lot to get.
This is really super cool. My mom's all delighted. So I'm like being interviewed all internationally. I love that technology has taken us to a point where we can do this kind of cool stuff, and you don't have to own a major network on cable. You can just do this so that people can gain access to it. I do appreciate you guys having me on the show. This is really awesome.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to have you. Really, it's like uplifting. So, well, I hope you well, and I hope I see you.
I hope you
sometime somewhere.
You're gonna see. I'm gonna go over there and make you dance for me, because you got the moves going on, and it's really cool. And I do dance classes on Skype and readings on Skype as well. So I'm on the internet, truly lurking on the internet for people. So don't be afraid to engage with a practitioner if you're not in their area, because this technology makes it really possible to engage with people. It's really super cool.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, and see you sometime somewhere. Thank you.
All righty. All righty, then I guess we're all done. Thank you, everybody. God bless everyone, and I hope everybody has a wonderful and joyous day. And I always tell the same thing. I always end with the same line. I always tell people, ignite your life today so that you can evolve your life tomorrow.